Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome back to your new favorite podcast. We're so excited because we've gotten a lot of reviews already. So thank you to all of our OG real one friends and family that have given us reviews.
Yeah.
We're trying to grow this podcast very quickly, and we are both determined to do that. And we have been learning about the science of manifesting. And when you have more than one person going for the same goal, it is a lot more likely to manifest.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Yeah. We've been so excited and happy, and every time a review comes in or a comment is left, it makes us so happy. You guys have sent us so many beautiful messages.
Yeah.
We feel so lucky. All our friends and family, like, you guys are just amazing.
Yeah.
And for the new people to the community who've just found us randomly, we're so happy to have you here. It's been so much fun. Like, we've just been so giggly the past few days.
Yeah. This is really fun. It's already a fun project or kind of thing that we're doing, and we have a vision.
We do have a vision.
We're getting very clear on the vision, and we really think it's inevitable.
Yeah. Which, speaking of getting clear on the vision, we were thinking
today we can talk about
how to begin to manifest.
Yeah.
And first and foremost is getting clear on the vision, knowing what you want.
Yeah, and starting to just be open to the idea that life can be good, and be open that, oh, I don't have to feel, negative all the time. Like, oh, I can feel good. Like, I can have a good life. I feel like a lot of us, go through life feeling a little bit, anxious or feeling sad or feeling discouraged or whatever. And then you get in a pattern of doing that. And then, you have to consciously start to be a little bit more positive and be a little bit more delusional, and start to actually ask for and set the intention of the things that you're wanting to manifest. So I feel like that is a good first step. So if we're having some listeners out there that, if you are feeling very negative, or if you're feeling very discouraged or whatever, this is your sign to start trying to change your mindset a little by little throughout the day, and start to open up your mind to being like, oh wait, okay, you know what? Maybe life can be good. Maybe I can manifest anything I want, and just start to ask for what you want, or get clear on what you want.
Yeah. And sometimes that feels a little delusional at the beginning.
Right.
So just getting comfortable with maybe being a little uncomfortable in asking what you want, and then sitting in that space until it happens.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you are starting to manifest things and starting to ask for what you want, you can come up against maybe some resistance, and then that's where you have to really push through that, push through the resistance. As you're on your growth journey, you'll keep getting to new heights and new levels, and at every new level you're gonna find maybe some, not at every, but sometimes at new levels you'll find either some resistance, because our brain doesn't necessarily like to change.
Yeah.
So if you're starting to change the way you think, or changing your environment, or changing your actions, your brain is gonna have some resistance towards it, even if it's a good thing.
Yeah. And some of that resistance looks like limiting beliefs. So a lot of the work that we're going to talk about is how to change those limiting beliefs, and how to get from point A to point B when you don't necessarily feel like you're there yet.
Yeah, totally.
And just how to hold that vision for yourself until it manifests.
Yeah, it really is just about holding the vision.
Yeah.
Literally just holding the vision, even if it feels hard, but eventually everything actually does manifest.
Yeah.
And it's just being patient. And, if you're getting into in the quantum field, which we can touch on, it might come quicker, but it really is just being patient. And we have a tendency to want things to come really, really fast, of course, obviously. But how I explain and how I think about manifesting is that your current reality is kind of made from your old beliefs, right? So it's at every moment you're creating. So if you're trying to manifest something and it's not here yet, your life and your reality is just your old thoughts playing out. And eventually these are going to be played out, and then your new thoughts and your new ways of thinking are gonna manifest. It just takes that time to get there.
Yeah. Another way I've heard this being described is like you're sitting in answered prayers. So like your old you wanted what you currently have right now, which is so cool and so beautiful, because I think even where we're at right now, we've absolutely manifested and also like held the vision for each other.
Yeah, of a lot of things.
On a lot of things.
And they've already manifested. Like, that's how I've gotten really confident in manifesting. That's how you can become more and more confident, is you start, like, things start to show up, like maybe smaller things or whatever, and try to be intentional with like remembering and realizing that so many things that you've manifested have actually come to fruition. And that's a way to get more and more confident.
Yeah, to like start recognizing the little blessings that have already started to accumulate. One way that you taught me how to do this, and now I do, is I have a notes in my notes app, and I just write down anything. I'll like date it, time it maybe, and it will be like little things to huge accomplishments that I've had. For example, I think we were going to yoga at this yoga studio, and the parking lot is so tiny, and it doesn't matter if you get there like 15 minutes early or if you get there right on time. There's always like difficulty parking.
Yeah.
And I constantly had been running late to yoga. And so one day I was running late to yoga and pulled up, and then right in front of the studio, I had a parking space, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But like in the past, I would have just brushed that off.
Yeah.
But then seeing that and then taking time, I like put that in my note, and that's like such a little silly thing. But I think it's super cool because it starts to program your brain to start to see all the good in everything. So yeah,
I call it my hype me up note.
Yeah.
And anytime something happens that makes me smile or I'm really proud of or whatever, I write it down. I try to remember to write it down. And it's little, sometimes it's big things, but sometimes it's small things where you wouldn't have ever thought about that again unless you wrote it down.
Yeah, would have forgot about it, but I had it in the notes, and again, you're like, it's such a little thing,
but it made you happy.
It made me happy. And I started to show gratitude.
Yeah.
And then showing gratitude is easier in so many other areas.
Yeah.
I guess, sorry, I'm hopping all over the place because there's so many good ways on how to manifest.
Yeah, how to get into it.
Yeah.
That's a great way to start getting into it. If you are someone who maybe focuses on the negative a little bit more often, that's a really great way. Like do a hype me up note. You call it what, you're happy?
I just say like my gratitude notes.
Okay, gratitude note. Just make a note in your phone. Start writing down when really good things happen to you, and then look at that note often.
Yeah, and then it starts to change your brain, and then you start to look at everything more positively.
Yeah,
and then it's so much fun because then you realize everything's happening for you.
Yeah,
whether it's small, big, in between. Another way that we change our brain and like start to push past those limiting beliefs, I think, is through affirmations.
Yeah, totally.
Just constantly reaffirming yourself, even if you don't feel like that, saying positive things about yourself, because the fastest way to get somewhere or to obtain something is to feel like you've already had it.
Yeah.
And actually like believing what you're saying.
Yeah. And being, I guess another way to say that is like being grateful for something that's already, that you're manifesting or trying to feel, like trying to be grateful for it now. Yeah. And it draws it to you. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is gratitude is the pathway to abundance.
Yeah.
I think that's what
something
it is.
Like that.
Yeah, something like that. Gratitude is the pathway to abundance. And yeah, I mean, one of the first things I ever did to get started on my personal development healing journey was starting to do gratitude lists. And that's one of the first things I am having my clients do is start doing gratitude lists, because it like when you focus on what you're grateful for, it really does rewire your brain to be like, oh, okay, good things do happen to me. Yeah. And when you're in a feeling of gratitude, I think, first of all, it's impossible to feel like anger or jealousy or any other like negative emotion if you're feeling gratitude. So if you're focusing on that, boom, that's amazing. And then, yeah, you're rewiring your brain to be like, oh, okay, actually good things do happen to me. And then you start noticing more things that are good that are happening to you. And I believe then you just start drawing in more things to be grateful for when you are focusing on gratitude. Yeah. You become a vibrational match to more things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, so that's a one way to get into it. Doing your affirmations. Huge. Me and Kayma both have, I got us these affirmation sticker cards that we put in our shower.
Yeah.
And I put them around the bathroom. Oh yeah, in the fridge.
Yeah.
So we constantly are seeing our affirmations. And really, truly, when it comes to healing and changing your brain, repetition is, I think, the key. Like, to change your subconscious mind, it takes repetition. So, for affirmations, it's like you can't just say it one time or look at it one time and expect it to stick. It really is repetition. If you can, I'll try to find those cards. I'll put them in the show notes, but you can also just put your affirmations on like a sticky note and put them around the house.
Yeah.
And, make yourself read them, look at them anytime you pass by them.
Because they'll start to stick.
Yeah, it really will.
Or listening to positive things. They'll start to stick, and then all of a sudden you'll realize, like, you're thinking those positive thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Another example for that, I think, Liv has been kind of on a health journey or, like, fitness journey of, like, moving her body, appreciating the way she looks, just, like, calling confidence into herself. And so, she's just been walking around the house, like, so happy and been like, oh my gosh, I look good today. Or like, Kames, like, I look so good. I'm really liking how I feel. And she's been like saying this, over and over again. And I think it's sinking in my head, because then I had like gotten out of the shower and was in the mirror, and I looked at myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I look good today. And it was so funny because I was like, whoa, where did that thought come from? But I believed it. Because I think like my subconscious was just listening to you be so positive about yourself. And it was exciting for me to see how happy you were feeling and like confident you were feeling. So then I think it rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the way people talk about themselves, the way people say, or just talk in general, what they say rubs off on you. It really is important, like who you're hanging out with. Yeah. What you're consuming. Yeah.
So yeah, positivity is a good way to start manifesting things, because it'll raise your vibration. And we'll talk a little more about like what a vibrational match is.
Yeah.
And totally. what emotions can get you into a higher vibrational match to get your manifestations quicker.
Yeah.
But that getting clear on what you want, knowing that you can have it and you can have anything you desire, like, and really knowing that and feeling that in your heart, I think is a huge first step as well.
One of my clients the other day was talking about, like, another topic is, what do you do when your friends or people around you aren't into the stuff, aren't into spirituality, aren't into manifesting or whatever? And I wanted to touch on that because I feel like that's how I felt when I first got into this stuff. And because I felt like I remember feeling like I was actually crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, no one, like, I'm not gonna be able to talk about this with anyone. Like, people are gonna think I'm actually crazy. And I had a little bit of a breakdown for a moment there. But, from my experience, people are more receptive than you think they're gonna be about this stuff. Like, if you are passionate about something, most of the time your friends are going to be interested in it.
Yeah.
So if you start talking about it little by little, your friends get into it. But yeah, I mean, warning, like when I first started talking to my friends about this stuff, they did think I was a little bit crazy, but they were, entertaining it and at least like talking and trying to kind of understand what I was saying. But then eventually, if you are really about this stuff, I think once you start learning about this stuff, it changes your life so much. So you continue learning about it and continue implementing it. And so as you continue to learn and kind of just start peeping in little things here and there, your friends are going to start getting more and more interested and more into it. That's what's happened for me. And also on the other side of that, manifesting. Like, hey, I'm really manifesting all my friends getting into spirituality. That's what I did.
You have to hold the vision for them.
Yeah, hold the vision for them.
Yeah, you gotta hold the vision for them. You have to kind of hold the box up and like be the one leading.
Yeah, you're kind of leading everyone into this journey. And that's what I did. I mean, I manifested, like, I literally remember writing down, like, I want all my friends and family to start getting into this stuff, to start getting into spirituality. And a lot of my friends have started to do that. And a lot of my family has. And I've just manifested more friends like you, for example, who are into this stuff. Yeah.
Always just remember, like, don't be discouraged if other people are kind of not giving you the feedback that you want. Everyone is on their own, spiritual timeline, spiritual journey. it's addicting to feel bad.
Yeah.
Unknowingly, your brain is sending off a lot of signals. A lot of hormones are being released when you get stimulated off feeling like lower vibration emotions. So sometimes it's literally hard to start thinking positively.
Yeah.
So, and even giving yourself grace, because I feel like sometimes we're really good at being like positive, 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 and then you kind of slip back into that unconscious self of like seeing negativity in things, and it feels good, and then you forget, and you have to remind yourself, no, I have to wake up to this. I have to be conscious to my unconscious thoughts.
Yeah, totally.
And start being positive for yourself and those like around you.
Yes, I totally agree. I think that, yeah, that's a common question, is if you're, starting on your healing journey, starting on manifesting journey, and you're starting to be really positive and you feel like you're making a lot of progress, and then you have, a bad day or a bad moment or a bad couple days, and then you feel even worse because you're like, oh, I'm ruining everything, or I ruined everything. Try not to feel like that, because everyone goes through that. I still go through bad days after years of this work, but I feel like, and that's just a part of life. Like, I feel like I've kind of accepted, like, yes, as you're going on this upward journey, you're still going to have bad moments, but you're always going to be able to bounce back. Like, don't worry if you have a bad moment, a bad day, a bad week. You can always get back on and start, being more positive, and it's totally fine to have negative days. Don't think you ruined all your progress.
No, because again, it doesn't work like that. It's not like one bad thought and all of a sudden you're back, 10 steps.
Yeah. And it's proven that positive thoughts create a lot faster than negative thoughts.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how that's proven, but at least I've heard it.
So there you go. Positive thoughts create a lot faster than negative thoughts.
Yeah, so don't stress out if you have a negative thought.
Another way to manifest is proving to your brain that other people have done it, and if other people can do it, then you can do it.
Yeah, our brain needs proof to see it's possible.
It loves proof, which is essentially what the 4-minute mile is.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know what the 4-minute mile is, it's just scientists were like, you can't run a mile in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And then one person was like, no, I'm pretty sure you can. So they did.
Yeah, they really pushed themselves, ended up running 4 minutes.
Yeah. And then like the next week, more and more people, like all these people came out and they're like, wait, we could do it too. Yeah, but it was like,
because they saw proof that you could do it.
Right. So yeah, so showing your brain like other examples of things you want, because again, if other people can do it, why can't you? The universe is so abundant, and you also obtaining the same goal never takes away from somebody else. Yeah. So there's so much for you win. Yeah,
for you to win. I think that a lot of us are programmed as we grow up for, like kind of a scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. And that's something that, me and you have been working on, like getting rid of and working again, reprogramming our brain, because now I believe that, creation is like unlimited, essentially. Like abundance is unlimited. We can create whatever we want. It doesn't take away from anyone else. But that was definitely like a belief that I had to unlearn.
Yeah.
And I believe that, we were kind of programmed to believe that there's not enough for everyone. If you're winning, you're taking away from someone else. Yeah. But we have to kind of get rid of that belief. And everyone can win.
Everyone can win. And it's fun when everyone's winning. Yeah. It's very like community.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing.
Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of the story I mentioned on the last podcast, where one of my friends in New York asked me if I want to move into her apartment. Mm-hmm. We were texting because she listened to that episode, and she was like, oh my gosh, I know, that's the craziest story. Yeah. And she was like, I was kind of scared to ask you because, I didn't know if you wanted to do that or if it'd be too expensive or whatever. And I was like, that's such a good example of you getting what you want is actually helping other people. And you thriving and you living on your purpose and manifesting what you want is actually helping other people too.
Yeah, because when you're good and you're happy, then it's kind of like a domino effect where everyone else is good and happy because you're able to like give more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's our birthright.
Yeah, abundance is our birthright.
Abundance is our birthright, and we deserve everything we want.
Yeah.
So Why not?
Thanks, universe.
Yeah. I think even with this podcast, this is like a perfect example of wanting something, seeing other people succeed at it, and then choosing to go forward with it. And even just all the support we've received the past couple days is like proof to our brains, like, oh my gosh, we can do this. The stuff we like have to share with you guys is important, and it's just so fun. And it's just bringing me a lot of joy.
Another reason why we're excited about this podcast is to show people that manifesting works, because we've been, thinking about some of the things that we want to do with this podcast, or brand sponsorships or whatever. And eventually, pretty soon we're probably going to share some of those and then watch, and y'all can watch along the journey of being like, literally, we know we're going to work with XYZ brand, and, however many days, weeks until that happens, y'all are going to watch and see it come to fruition.
Yeah.
So we're going to be good examples of set your intentions. You can manifest anything you want, and be delusional as fuck.
Okay. And then also, I think a good way to like boost your manifestations and to get whatever you want is to just not put any pressure on it, in the sense of like, okay, we want all of these things, but we don't necessarily have a timeline. Or we know that all of this is going to happen, but we don't know how. Like, so it's very unknown, and it's very up to the universe. So it's just total, like, we have total belief like this is going to be successful. We have total belief that this is going to be helping a lot of you guys, and that you guys are going to have really cool stories. And
you don't need to know the how.
Yeah, we don't need to know the how. Like, and we have this saying, we're always like, yeah, that's just none of my business.
Yeah.
None of my business. We love saying that. And it's true.
That's one of our favorite sayings.
It's one of our favorite sayings. And I think about it like in terms of like Wi-Fi. Like, I know that when I press the Wi-Fi button, I have internet, and that I get to go on my phone, and that I get to record this video.
How it works?
Have no idea.
None of my business.
None of my business, but I know it's working.
Yeah.
And I'm so confident in that.
Yeah, that's what we say when we're manifesting something, and we don't know the how. We say, okay, well, I know I'm going to get it. That's not my business how it's going to come. And that's a big, I'm really glad you brought that up, because not needing to know the how is
the how or the when.
The how or the when is a good first step of manifesting too, because a lot of people get stuck when y'all are asking for something like, oh, I want to manifest this, but or it stops you from manifesting because you're like, well, I don't know how that would happen.
Yeah.
Babe, I promise you do not need to know the how. It is not my business how that's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. Not my business how. The universe, one of my favorite sayings is, the universe will move millions and billions of things around for you to get exactly what you want. Of course, your little baby human brain isn't going to know how that's going to happen.
Right.
You don't need to know how. Just get clear on the what.
The what. Yeah, exactly what you want. And then also, I feel like there's a certain kind of like peace or freedom that you feel when you detach from how the outcome is supposed to manifest itself. Yeah.
Detachment, I feel like that's an interesting topic that I am still honestly learning about, because I feel like the law of detachment, people talk about detachment a lot. And how I've been thinking about it lately is, you are manifesting something and you're really excited because it's going to happen and you're grateful for it, but it's okay even if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I guess.
Because like ultimately the universe is going to give you everything you want, and if not that, better.
Exactly. Yes. That is what I've been thinking. I'm like, okay, well, I want this, but even if it ends up not being this, I know it's going to be something better. So that's why that lets me, in getting in that mindset, lets me ask for like the crazy things, because I'm like, okay, well, it's either going to be that or something better. So I'm like, I might as well dream big.
Yeah. And every rejection is a redirection, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment.
Yeah.
I have too many examples of like life-altering situations that, looking back now, I'm like, that was the best thing that could have ever possibly happened. And I'm so happy it happened exactly like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am today. And where I am today is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's something that seems almost common sense, but you don't actually realize that until you intentionally look back and being like, and maybe find a couple examples in your life where you didn't get what you wanted, or something quote unquote bad happened to you. Maybe you didn't end up dating the person you wanted to date, or you didn't get the job you wanted to, or didn't go to college, whatever. And it seemed devastating at the time. And then of course, a couple of years later, you realize, oh, thank God that didn't happen. That's how I live my life 99% of the time now, where I'm like, okay, anything that doesn't go exactly how I want it to, I'm like, okay, I know that happened for a reason. I know I'm being redirected to something better. So I might as well, you can either freak out about it and and then it's going to be okay, or you can just not freak out about it and then it's gonna be okay. So it's do you want to worry about it or not?
I see, and I love that. I've been trying to move through that a lot, because ultimately the end result is gonna happen either way. So like how you get there, you might as well move with like happiness and peace. Like, why be stressed out? Because even if a bad thing is gonna happen at the end, why waste all that time being so upset if the bad thing's gonna happen anyways? You might as well go along for the ride and have a good time. And then whatever happens. So
exactly.
It's
gonna that's a good way to try to release your anxiety, because you're like, well, it's either gonna happen or not. You can either, if it's gonna happen, you are making the situation last 10 times longer if you're worried about it the whole time. If you're not worried about it the whole time and then it happens, then it still happened, whatever, but at least you didn't spend that whole time leading up to it experiencing it before it even happened. If you want to think about it that way.
And then another way to get a manifestation is kind of do the opposite, where it's like something hasn't happened yet, but you sit in that joy and you sit in that momentum, you sit in that gratitude. And then the whole time you're feeling like you already have it. And then by the time you have it, you've been feeling like that the whole time. So it's like a win.
And the feeling of already having something draws it to you faster. And you get to experience that before you even have it. And that's so cool. But that is that's basically what getting really good at manifesting is.
It's just always sitting in a state of like, oh yeah, I already have it. Like all my desires are already there. Life is so good.
Expecting good things.
We went being
hopeful, literally expecting good things. And we went to an Abraham Hicks workshop a few months ago, and highly recommend looking up Abraham Hicks. They have a lot of really great content and really inspiring, hopeful content. One of their books, Ask and It Is Given, is a really good beginner manifesting book, I would say. You can look into that. But one of the main things that I took away from that workshop was allow yourself to expect good things. And I think that's beautiful.
Okay, she is amazing. And Abraham Hicks is so funny, because you guys have probably seen her like pop up on your TikTok. She's the one who's like, I love spending money on expensive things. Like, I look so good. I'm so happy. Life is so good.
The universe loves me.
The universe loves me. Like, of course he loves me. Like, I'm amazing. I'm the best thing that's happened to him. Like, just all these like positives, and she says them just so energetically. And I didn't know who Abraham Hicks was, but Liv kind of talks like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like Liv is very, very positive. And even when I'm like in the past, not anymore, because, better. But in the past, like even when I would be like, okay, like, well, let's be realistic, or like, let's X, Y, and Z this, like Liv's always so positive. And she was like telling me like, oh, do you know who Abraham Hicks was? And I was like, I don't know, like, I don't really know about them. But then I somehow ended up on her side of TikTok, and I'm seeing all these like positive things. I still hadn't connected that that's the woman Liv was telling me about.
Oh, okay.
And so I finally started listening to her voice, and then I called Liv, and I was like, oh man, I love Abraham Hicks. You remind me of her.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's like how you talk. Like, you're so positive. And Abraham Hicks is so silly. I recommend you guys look up her audio, because she says this thing called like priming the pump. And it's when you pick one really good thing, and then you keep progressing and progressing and progressing until all of a sudden you just are in a state of like joy.
Yeah, and gratitude. So you're like focusing on one small thing you're grateful for, and you would kind of attract more thoughts that are aligned with that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because it's like priming the pump. So you you find something really, really small. And then like it gets like even better. That's funny. That's a nice compliment. Thanks for saying I talk like that. I would say it's taken practice, but it's possible to like start rewiring your brain to talk like that. Just
naturally, I guess.
Yeah.
It's taken practice, but that is something that I realized early on in my wellness and healing journey too, was in every situation, we can either focus on the outcome that you want or the outcome that you don't want, right? The outcome that you want, where you'd be happy and you're expecting good things and you're letting yourself get your hopes up, or the outcome where you're like, okay, I'm scared to be disappointed, so I'm just going to focus on the bad things so I don't get my hopes up, or, our brain is addicted to feeling anxious. So if that's the option that makes you feel anxious, your brain's going to like continue to go back towards that. Mm-hmm. And that's something I realized. I was like, okay, in every situation, I really do have a choice. Do I want to focus on what I want, or do I want to focus on what I don't want? And in that moment, I remember being like, okay, I'm going to start being intentional and focus on what I actually want. Mm-hmm. And I got a tattoo about that. My one tattoo so far is I'm tatted up. I'm tatted. That's my one tattoo that reminds me to try to focus on the good. And I promise your life will start drastically improving if you are.
Yeah. And why do we do that? Like, is it like pride or is it ego? Because like sometimes like when I really want something, like I maybe won't share it because am I scared that like if I told too many people I wanted something and then I didn't get it, like is that like a pride type thing,
Yeah.
And then it's like kind of silly because it's like you're probably sharing all these things with people who really love and support you.
Right.
And they wouldn't think any less of you if you don't get it.
Yeah.
So it's like just kind of being brave to yourself and to others and like hoping for the good things and just knowing that like your reality is what you think and what you give energy to. So if you're thinking all these negative, horrible thoughts about a situation not happening or happening, that's what's real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So why not think of the best case scenario? Why not feel bubbly and feel light and not be scared?
Yeah. We are a very positive household.
We're a very positive household, and we clock each other quick.
Yeah, if we're not being. Which I don't know if we explained that, but we're roommates.
Yeah. We're roommates.
We live together, which has been so fun.
Really, the entirety of this podcast are gonna like show you guys beginning ways on how to manifest, get clear on your intentions, get clear on your delusions, and then take inspired action and do so with a smile on your face.
Yeah, we're trying to be, your delusional besties or your positive besties, because some people don't have people in their life that are into this stuff. So we're excited to be, part of that for you, for our audience. Yeah. And I think that we are good at convincing people that you can manifest anything and you deserve to be happy and life is really good.
Life is so good.
So keep listening along. We always
say all is well.
All is well.
All is well. So yeah. See you guys in the next episode.
Bye.